Om Sahanavavadu Sahanav Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Garavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Shruti Smriti Prabharananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah. Om Bhadram Karnevi Shunyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryatra Sthirairangai Stushtvagam Sastanubihi Vishayama Deva Hitam Yadayu Swasti na Indro Vridhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Saksho Arishnemi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vimut Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Paramatmane Namaha. In the second sloka, what we have seen, Sarvagam Hetu Brahmayam Atma Brahma Soyam Atma. Atma has four padas. If Atma has four padas, then the question is, what are the first three padas? Padas from the Jagrat Drishti. Jagrat is understood only from Jagrat Drishti. Swapna is also understood as Swapna only from Jagrat Drishti. Sushupti is also understood as Sushupti from Jagrat Drishti. But Sushupti from Sushupti Drishti is Anubhavam. There is no thought of presence, there is no thought of the absence. Thought of the absence makes it, thought of the absence of perception makes it the sthanam, third state. Whereas freedom from the thoughts of presence and absence of the perception objects makes it anubhava, that is in the swarupa avastha. So sushupte from sushupti, that is in chaturthapada. That means that is what one has to understand. That is why it is said, Prapancho Shamam Shantam Shamam Shamadvaitam Chaturtham Manyante Saatma Savigneyaha. Chaturtha pada is what is to be understood. That is why the three padas have to be bhajitam, specified to understand that they are not outside me, they are within me, they are non-separate from me. Having understood, that is why they are karnavachas. The three states are karnavachas, and the last state is the chaturtham is the karmavacha. Karmavacha means, it is something to be understood. It is gneyam. Gneyam yatat pravakshyami jnatvam sushmasmrite. Iti Bhagavan himself says. It is gneyam, it is to be understood. Gneyatam also is adhyaropitam. It's not gneyatam. Gneyam also is adhyaropa. Adhyaropa drishtya gneyam. Otherwise it is it is not gneyam. It is abhyapadesham. Abhyapadesham means it cannot be taught. It is yato vacha nivartante aparabhimanasasa. It is the nirvishesham that is taught as the karma of the Jagat. The nirvishesham is taught by the Shastra as the Jagat Karanam. Jagat Karanatvam is only adhyaropitam. Jagat Karanat Karya Karana Bhava goes away, then there is nirvishesham only. Karya Karana Bhava understood is freedom from Karya Karana Bhava. Karya Karana Bhava understood is freedom from Karya Karana Bhava. This you have to understand very clearly. Karya Karana Bhava understood is Karya Karana Bhava, freedom from Karya Karana Bhava. Karya Karana Bhava understood is freedom from Karya Karana Bhava. This you have to understand clearly. And therefore, therefore the first three, by falsifying that the three states are indeed, the Jagrata is a perception, Swapna is a perception, and the third state also is a perception. Non-perception also is a kind of a perception. It's a perception and non-perception. Perception and non-perception. Non-perception also is kind of is a non-perception, is abhava, and therefore the perception of bhava, and therefore it is not grahana bhava. Due to grahana bhava, there are three states. It is not due to. It is not in the same sense. It is not in the same way as grahana bhava. And grahana bhava, it is due to grahana bhava. Sarvagam etud brahma ayam atma brahma. Soyam atma chatuspada. And it is said, this atma is chatuspada. Pada shabda does not mean gopada or any other pada. It's not in the sense of feet. It is in the sense of a quota. Just as a rupee has a quota, and a quarter, and a quarter, and a quarter, in the same manner. But then it is not that 4 quarters make one, but the one has 4 quarters. Important to note. And therefore, the one remains always the one. That is Swarupa Avastha. That is in the Swarupa Avastha, the one remains always the one. And the 4 quarters remain only quarters until one understands. You know, having a cow having 4 feet. In the same manner, here also 4 feet. It's not like that. It is in the form of Karshapanavati. It's like the 4 quarters. How in 4 quarters, one is divided into 4 quarters, but 4 quarters do not. It is Shastra Kalpitam. And therefore it is to be understood that it's not qualified by the Prakriya and Tatparyam. It is not Prakriya versus Tatparyam. There is no opposition between Prakriya and Tatparyam. There is only Prakriya and Tatparyam. Prakriya and Tatparyam means Prakriya leads to Tatparyam. Prakriya understood is Tatparyam understood. And there is Jagat Karanam understood is freedom understood. Karanavachyam, and the last pada is the Chaturth pada is Karmavachyam. Why should it be understood so? Because the Karanavachyam has to be by way of falsifying without falsifying the mithya, without understanding the mithya as mithya, you can't understand the satyam as satyam. And therefore, the mithya has to be falsified. Understanding the mithya as mithya is otherwise called falsification of the mithya. Mithya being understood in the form of mithya is what is called falsification of mithya. And therefore, without understanding the mithya as mithya, we can't understand the satyam as satyam. And therefore, here it is said, the mithya is understood as mithya. The Jagat, this the Jagra Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and Sushupti Avastha, all the 3 avasthas are only from Jagra Drishti, and these 3 avasthas have to be falsified, and therefore they are Karanavachyam. They have to be falsified, and therefore they are Karanavachyam. And therefore in the Karmavachyam, Chaturtham is the Karmavachyam. It is something to be understood. The 4th is something to be understood. That is the Swarupa. The Swarupa Avastha is something to be understood. And therefore it is Karmavachyam. And therefore Karanavachyam, in this manner it is given here. Sarvagam Hedad Brahma Ayam Atma Brahma. And therefore between the Atma and Brahma Shabda, there is Samanadikaranyam. Samanadikaranyam means both have the same locus. It is like saying it is Brahman is Atma, Atma is Brahman. Brahman is Atma, Atma is Brahman. But we may say that Brahman is Soyam Atma, Sarvagam Hedad Brahma. This is all Brahman when we say. It is Atma that is being taught as Brahman. Without being yourself, Atma Brahman cannot, without being yourself, you cannot know the Brahman. And therefore, you can only understand the Brahman as Brahman. Only you can understand the Atma as Brahman. Nothing else can be understood as Brahman. You can't say a given object is Brahman. You can't say. Brahmatvam is there in every object. Every object is non-separate from the Brahman. Therefore, it is Jagat Karanam. It is not the Karanam of a given object. It is not the Karanam of a given object. It is the Karanam of the entire universe. Whatever it can be objectified is the Karanam of it. The unobjectifiable is the source of the objectifiable. The unobjectifiable is the source of the objectifiable. The unobjectifiable is Atma. And therefore the Atma is the source of as the source of everything, it is Brahman. Atma is not understood. If it is not understood, then it remains only a given form. The source of all forms becomes a given form. And as a given form, as the body, then it is in avidya. What is the given source of, what is the source of everything becomes a given object, is identified with a given object. It's like the water, which is the source of all the waves, is taken to be a given wave. And as a given wave, it is jiva, as a given wave. But as water, it is Brahman. And therefore, it is said, Sarvagami Yatad Brahma, I am Atma Brahma, so I am Atma Chaturshvat. Between Atma and Brahma, there is Samanadikaranyam. This you must know. Between Atma and Brahma, there is Samanadikaranyam. Wherever there is Samanadikaranyam, it is said between Prakrishtaha, Chandra is Prakashaha, or what is Prakashaha is Chandraha, what is Prakrishtaha, Prakrishta Prakasha Chandraha. Among the three letters, three words, there is Samanadikaranyam. In the same manner, here also between Atma and Brahma, there is Samanadikaranyam. And the three states have to be falsified by falsifying the three states. Like without knowing the snake rope, you cannot know the snake. Without knowing the snake as mithya, you cannot know the rope as satyam. And therefore, knowing the satyam as satyam and knowing the mithya as mithya are one and the same. They are two words for the same thing. Knowing the satyam as satyam and knowing the mithya as mithya are not there. There is no sequence. They are not two things. One doesn't have to say, does the light come first or later? What is it? What is it that goes first? The darkness having gone, the light comes, or having the light comes, the darkness goes. In this manner, we don't have to say. The departure of darkness is the same as understanding the mithya as mithya. Both are at the same time. In Naishamisthi, it is said, the mithya can be understood only with the light of the satyam. The satyam, because it is satyam is understood, and therefore the mithya is there is no krama, there is no sequence. You see, between understanding the satyam and understanding the mithya, there is no sequence. Understanding the mithya is understanding the satyam as satyam, and understanding mithya as mithya is one and the same. There are two words for the same thing. There are two expressions for the same thing, but it is the same thing, and it looks as though they are two different things. And therefore, it is so. And then the third verse, it is said, Jagrata Sthanaha. Jagrata Sthanaha is the waking state. The waking state is an error, please. It is a distortion. Distortion is not a process. Contortion is a process. Contortion is different from distortion. Distortion is bhranti. When you see the one moon as many moons, then that is a distortion. That is a bhranti. That is an illusion. If a person thinks that it is it is not an optical illusion, it is a mental illusion. You are seeing the rope, there is the snake. You are not seeing the snake, there is no snake there. Nasatra sarpasti, sarposti. There is no sarpa there. Rajatamiti pratiyate natatra rajatamasti, Bhagavan says. Rajatamiti pratiyate. It is only thought that it is rajatam. There is no rajatam there. In the same manner here also, there is no sarpa there. But what you are seeing is the rope only. But you are seeing it as a snake. And therefore it is a distortion. It is an illusion. It is a mental notion. Therefore there is no process there. Even though it is called sadhya adhyasa, all examples can be considered as sadhya adhyasa, but sadhya adhyasa is given as the anadya adhyasa. Anadya adhyasa, there is only one anadya adhyasa, atma and atma adhyasa. That is anadya adhyasa. I am deha is anadya adhyasa. Whereas all other adhyasas are sadhya adhyasas. Sadhya adhyasa is given as an example for anadya adhyasa. Otherwise, without the sadhya adhyasa, You can't, there is no simile to the Anadi Adhyasa, because Anadi Adhyasa is only one Anadi Adhyasa. That is they presupposing the Devoham is Anadi Adhyasa. Every Anadi, the entire samsara is there as Anadi Adhyasa. The struggle is there as Anadi Adhyasa. These Swabhavi Pravrittis are there as Anadi Adhyasa. Even though they look to be Sadi, but they don't have any Saditvam. They are as Adhyasa, they are Anadi. As Adhyasta, they are Anadi. Explained only through Sadi Adhyasa. Sadi Adhyasa alone can be given as a simile to the Anadi Adhyasa. Because we don't have two Anadi Adhyasas. We have only one Anadi Adhyasa. And therefore the simile can be given only Sadi Adhyasa. All examples come under the Sadi Adhyasa. They can be traced to time. Sadi Adhyasa, all examples can be they can be traced to time. But whereas the Anadi Adhyasa cannot be traced to any time. Then just as the universe includes the time. Therefore, when was the universe? The universe is not created in time. 14th day it is created, etc. They say, but it is not created like that. It is not. It cannot be traced to time. The universe cannot be traced to time. The creation of the universe cannot be traced to time. Therefore, Ishwaratvam is Anadi, and therefore Karyakarana Bhava is Anadi. Karyam is Anadi, Karanam is Karanatvam is Anadi, and therefore when the Karyakarana Bhava is negated, Karyakarana Bhava is understood, Karyakarana Bhava is negated. And Karyakarana Bhava is understood, Karyakarana Bhava is negated. This is very important point. Without understanding the Karyakarana Bhava, it cannot, without understanding the what is called Prakriya, you can't understand, you can't negate the Prakriya. The Prakriya has to be negated. And the Prakriya is only when we understand it, it is negated. It is not negated as by way of thinking that it is false or anything. It is not negated through falsity. It is negated by understanding. It is gone. It is not there. And therefore, Prakriya understood, Prakriya is negated. And therefore, that is knowledge. That is knowledge. Prakriya understood is Prakriya negated. Karyakarana Bhava understood is Karyakarana Bhava negated. And it becomes Ajaha. Then it becomes Ajaha. Ajaha means freedom from Karyakarana Bhava. Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana Nahanyate Hanyamani Sharira. It is there in Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana. Nayam Bhutvan Bhavita Bhavina Puya Ajo Nitya Shashvatoyam Purana Nahanyate Hanyamani Sharira. And this verse also comes from that Ajaha should be taken as not merely birthless or deathless. It should be taken as Karyakarana Bhava Rahitatvam. Karyakarana Bhava Rahitatvam is the meaning of Ajaha Ajatvam. Ajatvam means Karyakarana Bhava Rahitatvam. And therefore this has to be understood. This is very important. Karnika freedom, Karyakarana Bhava understood is freedom from Karyakarana Bhava. Like the wave is understood as water, then alone it should wave Bhava, that it is a wave, is gone. Similarly, Jiva, when he understands his Swarupa, his actuality, his Jivatvam is gone. When the Jivatvam is gone, Ishwaratvam also is gone. As long as Jiva, he thinks that he is born of Parameshwara. As Jivatvam is born of Parameshwara naturally, but when the Jivatvam is falsified, Ishwaratvam also is Abhetaha Jagatvam, Prapanchasya, everything goes away. Even the object loses its objectness. When the object loses its objectness, then that is falsification of the Jagat only. Falsification of the Jagat means it is not there. Aisa nahi. Even for a jnani, the universe is there, but it is not separate from. He understands it is not separate from the consciousness. It is seen. For the onlooker also sees that the other person, a jnani sees the universe. A jnani also gets this and that. And therefore, how is it possible? Then one may ask many questions. Does not, that means if the universe continues to be there, even for a jnani, then what is the difference between a jnani and ajnani? In this manner you say. But that is not true. The Jnani understands that the universe that he sees is not separate from himself, and therefore it is never separate. And therefore it is said, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma. This universe is Brahman. Shastra also refers to the universe as this. Idam Brahma. Sarvam Khalu Idam Sarvam Khalu indeed Sarvam Idam Brahma. All this is indeed Brahma. Means all this is means the universe is Brahmaniti. If the universe is Brahman, then the Jivatvam, Jiva also is Brahman. Jiva, there is no Jivatvam is created. Not Jiva is created. Jiva is conscious being, Chetanatma. And therefore, Jivatvam, the limitation is born, but it is filled up by the unlimited. Limitation is filled up by the unlimited being. The unlimited is not something that is not there, that is non-existent. It is existent, it is ever existent. And therefore, it is timeless being. And therefore, it is, and the unlimited is always there. That fills up the limitation. The sense of limitation is filled up by the unlimited. Therefore, Jivatvam is filled up by the conscious being, Brahma. Therefore, it is the Brahman that thinks that I am the Jiva. It is Brahman alone. There is no other being. Only Brahman alone is there. Therefore, Brahman alone thinks that I am a Jiva. And therefore, there is no other being. Being Advaitam, the non-dual, the only Brahman alone thinks that I am the Jiva. And therefore, the Jiva doesn't correct the error. And therefore, we attribute it to the Jiva. Why does he remain in ignorance? Why he doesn't? Because he is attracted to the objects, etc. He is attracted to the objects, etc. He is not interested in Vedanta. And then he thinks that he is not interested in the Vedanta and he is attracted to the objects. And that is the reason why he doesn't discern between Atma and Anatma. And that Atma and Anatma, when he is not interested in it, the avidya continues. And continuity of the sadhyasa, he dies in ignorance. When he is born in ignorance, and he grows in ignorance, and he dies in ignorance. And when he dies in ignorance, he is born again in ignorance. And that is nothing but continuity of avidya. The uncorrected avidya makes him continue in avidya. The uncorrected avidya only is all nothing but the uncorrected avidya. When he goes on taking janma. Whether he takes janma, it is not the jivatma. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Nam Nishan Yoga. Everything becomes dead and gone. When the body goes, the idea that I am Mr. So and so is gone completely. It has its laya. It has its laya is gone. And you can't even remember. The dismantled body cannot become all right again. Therefore, it is gone for good. And therefore, the individuality also is gone for good. It is the Paramatma that takes it is the same Jivatma, uncorrected Jiva. The Paramatma as Jivatma, uncorrected Adhyasa, continues to be there. And therefore, the Jiva Atma continues to take the embodiment. It is the Jiva that continues to take the embodiment. Paramatma as the Jivatma, Paramatma as Jivatma. Even though he loses the body, he loses the name, etc. But then Jivatma is there, Atma is there, Atma ununderstood is there. And therefore that Atma ununderstood takes the reform there. It is Dehi Nityam Avidyoyam, Dehe Sarvasya Bharata. Dehi Nityam. Dehe, the one who has Deha, is indeed Dehi. Deha Asya Astiti Dehi. He is indeed Dehi means the one who has Deha is called Dehi, and that Dehi continues to be there, and therefore that Dehi takes another Deha. Vasans Jirnani Atha Vihaya, Navani Grinahadi Naroparaani, Tatha Vihaya Jirnani Jirnani Dehani, Navani Dehi, every form is the Virat, and that Virat takes the form of Virat takes the form, another form, and therefore Jagrata Sthanaha. The Atma is Jagrata Sthanaha. Jagrata Sthanaha means Jagratam is a distortion. It's not a process, please. It's a distortion. Jagrata Sthanaha means Jagratam Sthanu Yasya Saha. The one who has the Jagratam, the waker is the waking individual, the waking Jiva is called the Jagrata Sthana. Jagratam means as though it is in comparison to the dream, it is Jagratam. The sense of reality is indeed makes him Jagrata Sthana. The sense of reality is the same, whether it is the waking or about the dream objects or about the deep sleep. It is the sense of reality is the same. It is indeed true that there is a Jagrat, and it is indeed true that these dream objects are real. The sense of reality makes him Jagatasana. And the sense of reality means even though there is a sense of reality about all the three states, but yet they make a distinction between Jagrata Avastha and Swapna Avastha. In contrast to Swapna Avastha, it is Jagrata Sthana. Jagrata Sthana. Jagratam is the waking state. The one who has the waking state is called Jagrata Sthana. Bahish Prajna. He is indeed Bahish Prajna. He looks at the Prajna means he is perception. Bahish Prajna means the one who thinks the knowledge of the objects. There is a sense of Dvaitam. Bahish Prajna means he looks at the objects. He, he finds himself perceiving the objects, and that perception of the object is called Prajna. Prajna. Bahihi Prajna finds himself perceiving the objects, and that perception of the object is called Prajna. Prajna. Bahihi Prajna Yasya Saha. The one who has um, outside Prajna is what is called Prajna. Here, Prajna means perception. Has um, outside Prajna is what is called Prajna. Here, Prajna means perception. Vaish Prajna. As though he is outside. Outside means, as though he is a waking Prajna. Waking Vaish Prajna. As though he is outside. Outside means, as though he is a waking Prajna. Waking objects are known by him. And therefore, that is also a kind of a distortion. Because the object, where from it does it come? In the consciousness, there are no objects in consciousness. And therefore, it is only pratyay rupam, pratyay bhavam, pratyay rupam. And that pratyay rupam, when it looks like, before it is correction, it looks like an object. And therefore, it is a pratyay rupam. Otherwise, it is an object. It is only a pratyay rupam, it looks like an object. Uncorrected, it looks like an object. It is only a thought. It is only a perception. And therefore, he finds himself perceiving. Therefore, it is a distortion. And therefore, Bahish Prajna, Saptanga. This word Saptanga, we will take it later on. But Ekona Vimshati Mukha. We will take it, and this Jiva is Ekona Vimshati Mukha. He has got 18, 19 faculties. Ekona Vimshati, Panch Pranas, Panch Karmendriyas, Panch Jnanendriyas, Antakarana divided into four: mind, intellect, Manaha, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Chittam. All four are 19. 19 faculties are the so Ekona means one less, 20. Eka Una Vimshati Mukha. Ekona Vimshati Mukha means 19. Eka Una means less. Vimshati Mukha. Vimshati means 20. 1 less 20 means it is only 19. 19 faculties he has got. Therefore, Ekona Vimshati Mukha. Sthola Bhuka. And he thinks that he can be full by enjoying the stholas, the waking objects. The waker enjoys the waking objects, and he thinks that he is going to be full through by enjoying the objects. And therefore, by enjoying the objects, he thinks he is going to be full and complete. And therefore, Sthola Bhuka. Nobody enjoys the objects only for survival. One thinks one makes it one thinks that he is only for survival. but he is looking for, his eyes are set on fullness, and therefore that fullness is nature, and therefore he doesn't want, he can't settle down for anything less than his nature. Therefore, he is only looking for his nature only, please. His nature happens to be fullness, and therefore he cannot understand his actuality, and therefore unless he discerns between Atma and Anatma, that I am not the Deha, unless he understands it, there is no question of liberation for him. There is no question of freedom from him. Therefore, there is no question of fullness. Therefore, the vairagyam doesn't come, and therefore, vairagyam is also is a kind of an attitude towards the objects. Vairagyam is a kind of an emotion that these objects, it is a kind of viveka bond thing. That is, these objects cannot give me any happiness, any fullness. I have to only understand myself. In this manner, I have to think. That is what is called vairagyam. That is what is called vairagyam. That vairagyam, he understands vairagyam, he can be, when the vairagyam also is a kind of an attitude. Vairagyam also is a kind of an attitude. That attitude is born of viveka. Therefore, when you understand the fullness is your nature, you are only looking for the fullness, and therefore that fullness can be understood only by understanding yourself. And therefore, it is a jnayam. Peace is a matter of understanding. It is not something. It is not born of a process. It is not a born of process. Ekanam Sitimukha, Sthola book, Vaishwanaraha Pratama Pada. Vaishwanaraha means Virat. Parameshwara is considered to be the Avyakrita Atma. Parameshwara is Avyakrita Atma, means Atma with Avyakritam. Atma with Avyakritam is what is Avyakritam means the unmanifest universe. Atma with unmanifest universe is called Avyakrita Atma. Avyakrita Atma. Avyakrita Atma, that is the Parameshwara. Everything is Avyakritam, is in Atma. And that is Parameshwara. From the Shastra Drishti, Shastra understands that it is only Parameshwara. It is only that is everything is manifest and manifest in Atma. Everything becomes manifest again in the Atma. As manifest in the Atma, tad Atma Tvamasi iti. He says in the Upanishad also, that Atma is yourself. That Atma is Brahman. And therefore, Atma Shabda means it is something that is there, that is comprehensive of the entire universe as itself. It is Kritsnaha. It is a complete being, and being the complete being, it is Kritsnaha. Stholabhug Vaishwanaraha, and Vaishwanaraha means and Tejomaya, the identified with Samashti Soul Center Abhimani, is called indeed Vaishwanaraha or Virat. Vishwascha Narascha is called Vaishwanaraha. Vishwanaraha Epu Vaishwanaraha. He is Vishwaha, he is Naraha. He is indeed the whole universe, and he is Naraha. He is the universe, he is the comprehensive of the whole universe as himself. He is not comprehensive of the universe in himself. Even if you say that in himself, it is only as himself. The Tatparyam is as himself. And therefore, even though he is comprehensive of himself, comprehensive of the whole universe, as in himself, even though we say it is as himself. Yes, and that is very important. Like the water is comprehensive of all the waves as itself, not in itself. Even like the fish are comprehended by the water in itself, but it can never be as itself. Whatever is as itself is only upadano. As itself means it's upadano. The waves are comprehended by water as water itself. Water is comprehensive of all the waves as itself. In the same manner here also, the Atma is comprehensive of all the manifest and unmanifest as itself. If it is comprehensive of all the manifest, and it is comprehensive of all the unmanifest, and that is why it is that's why it's called Ishvara, it is called Ishvara. Atma is Vishvara. Atma is Ishvara naturally. Atma as the source of the Jagat Karanam. Atma as the Jagat Karanam. It is Ishvara. But then the Mahavakya comes. Atma is Ishvara. Ishvara understood is Brahman. And that Brahman, that Nirvisesha Brahman, the what? That Nirvisesham is the what? It is given. Mahavakyam is that Sat is the what? Tat is a pronoun, and the Tvam is a Tat is a pronoun, Sat is the noun, and the pronoun qualifies the noun, and Sat is meant for Tat is meant. Tat means that Sat the what? That Sat is the what? Sat means it is Nirvisesham. Even though it is Adhyaropadrishtiya Sat, it is called Sat. Sat is called Sat from Adhyaropadrishti. Otherwise, no word can be used for the Nirvisesham. Yet it is Adhyaropadrishtiya, it is Sat. And Aropitam also it is gone. It is Yato Vacho Nivartante Aprapi Manasa Saha. That particular thing does the apavada of every Adhyaropadrishti. Every Adhyaropam is negated by the Yato Vacho Nivartante. The Nirvisesham cannot be used, cannot be qualified by, cannot be objectified by any thought, any word. And therefore it is said that Brahman, that Sat, the what? That Sat means the Sat, it is not the Sat, it is that Nirvisesham, the what? It is said here. And therefore this Virat, and that is Ishvara. And he is indeed the soul, he is the Jagat Karanam. As Jagat Karanam, he is Ishvara. And the Tejamayanta Karanamriti, and the one who identifies with every thought, he is called the Hiranyagarbha. Considered to be Hiranyagarbha. Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani. Sukshma Sharira is considered to be the thought. And so Sukshma Sharira Abhimani. Everything that is not Samashti Sukshma Sharira Abhimani is what is called Hiranyagarbha. Tejas is Hiranyagarbha. And Vishwaha is Vaishwanaraha. Or Vishwaha is Virat. The Samashti Sthula Sharira Abhimani is what is called Virat. And therefore every jiva is none other than Virat. Why? Because you are comprehensive of the whole. As consciousness, you are comprehensive of the whole universe as yourself. You are the Satyam of everything. Even though you are identified with one body, but you are comprehensive of the whole universe as yourself. Therefore, the universe cannot exist outside yourself. The universe is within the seer. Within the seer is the universe. And therefore, the universe being within the universe, within the seer, therefore the seer is, when it is understood that the universe is within you, the universe, the objectness is falsified, and then you understand there is only yourself. There is nothing else. There is nothing is parallel to your existence. There is no parallel to your existence. If there is something parallel, it should be outside you. It cannot be you. There is no outside to yourself. There is no outside to yourself. This is a very important point. There is no outside to yourself. There is no inside to yourself. You alone are there. And therefore it doesn't have any, and therefore that stillness is its swarupa. The stillness is its swarupa. It's not something that it's not something that is it is not, but it has been kartrutvam, and then now it is akarta. Aisa nahi hai. It is by nature, it is like the heat, the fire not being burning, it has started burning. You can't say. It is its nature to burn. But it can't it can't burn down the heat. It can only burn down the fuel. In the same manner, the Atma also can only burn down the Anatma. It can only illumine the Anatma. It can't illumine itself. And therefore Virat is something that is comprehensive of the whole thing. It is not the Sankhya Purusha, Sankhya Atma, but Deha Parichinatma. He is indeed Saptangaha. Virat is indeed Saptangaha. is indeed Parameshwara in the form of Virat. And that Virat Shabda is given. He is indeed Parameshwara is in the form of it is said, it is said, why do you say that is called Vaishnav Virat? It is said here, evam jasati sarva prapanchasya advaitameva advaita siddhi. Prapancha upashame advaita siddhi. Prapancha upashame. If the whole prapancha is indeed Parameshwara, then his head is heaven. His eyes are like sun and the moon, and his bladder is the sun, and his stomach is the sun, is the space, and his bladder is water. And in this manner, if you understand the whole universe as Parameshwara, and that Parameshwara is it is the Virat Swarupa, and that Virat alone, the unlimited in the form of the limited is the limited. The unlimited, not the limited, is in the form of the limited. The unlimited is in the form of the limited, is limited. And therefore that unlimited being is indeed in the form of the limited Jiva. And therefore that is why it is called Saptangaha. Saptangaha means he is indeed, the Jiva is indeed by nature, he is Parameshwaraha. Saptangaha means, Sapta means 7, Angas, limbs. He has got 7 limbs. And the 7 limbs, it is given here. Sarvasya prapanchasya sadhidaivaikasya anena atmana chatushvatvasya vivakshitatvata. Sarvasya prapanchasya sari prapanchasya sadhidaivakasya. So the whole entire Virat is the another name for the entire prapancha. Virat is another name for, Virat means the entire prapancha. Sarva prapanchasya, sarvasya prapanchasya sadhidaivakasya anena atmana chatushpatvasya vivakshit. So chatushpat atma is indeed this atma vivakshitatvata naishadosha aptangavattamiti brahma iti. Atmayam atma brahma iti pratyagaत्मना चतुष्पात्वे प्रकृते द्युलोकादीनां मूर्धान्ति गत्वं. Dyulokadi, heaven is its anga, and is his head, and his chandrama, sun and the moon are his eyes, and his space is his space in the stomach, and his varna, the water is indeed his bladder, etc. It is given here. That means Virat. That Virat it is not the Jiva as Jiva. Jiva is not a Jiva like Sankhya's think. Sankhya's always think that Jiva as Jiva. It is not the Jiva as Jiva. It is the Virat as in every Jiva. It is the Virat. It is as Jiva is Jiva. Virat as Jiva is Jiva. Parameshwara, and the Virat is none other than Sharira Sthula Sharira Abhimani. Samashti Sthula Sharira Abhimani. He is not present only in one Jiva, not as one Jiva. He is present in as all Jivas. As all Jivas. Every Jiva is none other than Virat in the form of Jiva. Virat in the form of the Jiva is a Jiva. And if we did say, when it is said, that means the Jiva, when he understands the actuality, then he becomes unlimited. If the Parameshwara, if you think like the Sankhya, that Atma is only unlimited, then the limited Atmas have crisscross. They crisscross one another. In this manner, the Sankhya's say, they crisscross one another. If the Atmas are limited by nature, then the Atma remains limited. Even if you withdraw from the body, then the limited remains the limited. Therefore, it is the unlimited that has become the Jiva. And therefore, that is very important. Saptanga, that Saptangatvam is very important. Saptangatvam is important. Saptangaha Ekonimshati Mukha Sthola Bhag Vaishwanaraha. This is the first pada. This is Pratama Padaha. This is the first pada. By falsifying the first three padas, you understand this as the last pada, Chaturpada. The first three padas are indeed the mithya, and the last pada, Chaturtha pada, Turiyam is indeed the real, the Satyam. And even though it is called Satya Satyam, what appears to be as Satyam is called Satyam. Not what is Satyam has got Satyam. That becomes the Anavastha dosha. If the Satyam has Satyam, then every Satyam must have another Satyam behind. But what appears to be Satyam, this only appears to be as Satyam. And therefore this has another Satyam. In that manner it is Satya Satyam. The Atma is indeed Satya ka Satya hai. See, what appears to be as Satyam, Jagat is only what appears as Satyam. It is not Satyam. Because the Satyasya Satyam, you are indeed the truth of what appears to be the truth. You are the truth of what appears to be the truth. Atma is what appears to be the truth. It is the truth of what appears to be the truth. The universe appears to be the truth. It is not the truth. But the Atma consciousness is the truth of what appears to be the truth. If it is truth of the truth, then it will lead to Anvastha dosha. Anvastha dosha is a regress ad infinitum. If one truth has another truth, then the final truth also will have another truth. That truth have a true truth. In this manner, there will be endless regress ad infinitum, and that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable to any school of thought, and therefore for anybody it is not acceptable. And therefore, any dosha is a mental lack of thinking. The wrong thinking is what is called dosha. It is a wrong thinking is what is called dosha, and therefore that wrong thinking is in the form of a dosha, and therefore anavastha becomes a dosha. And therefore we can't say the truth has a truth. That which is the truth has another truth. You can't say that. That will be a dosha. The truth is final. The source of everything cannot have another source. If the source has a source, then the absolute also has the source. Then that source also will have another source. And that which is the final source of everything, sakashta sa paragati, we say, and that kind of paragati cannot have another paragati, another source. Then it will be having anvastha dosha. And therefore, in order to avoid these doshas, we have to understand that the source cannot have another source, the truth cannot have another truth. What appears to be the truth, that is not the truth. The Jagat is not the truth. Even though you may think that it is the truth, it is not the truth. That is why you leave everything and go away. It is not the truth. And therefore it go away. It is not the truth. It looks to be the truth. And this has another truth. Satyasya Satyam. What appears to be, it's not relative truth and absolute truth. It is not something like that. It is wrong to say that relative truth and nothing appears as relative truth. Everything appears as relative is absolutely true. Absolute truth. In the dream, even from here, you may call it as subjective truth, but in the dream, it is considered to be the real. Similarly, the waking also appears to be absolutely true. In Dvaitam also absolute. That there is a division between the object and subject also appears to be absolutely true. Therefore, whatever appears, therefore, this only Shastra understands this bath. Only Shastra knows this bath. That what appears to be the truth, this is only Prapancha only appears to be true, and therefore it has its truth in you. You are the truth of what appears to be the truth. In this manner it says. And therefore, Jiva is not other than the unlimited. Jiva is not just not by separating the Deha from consciousness. It doesn't become unlimited unless it is unlimited even before. And therefore, it is a Virat that is called, that appears to be as Jiva. It is the unlimited that appears as limited. And therefore, it is the unlimited that appears as limited. And therefore, that is why it is called Vaishvanara Pratama Pada. It is indeed Vaishvanara. Or you can say Virat. Virat Darshanam means self-knowledge only. Even though Ishvara, Arjuna saw Virat as Darshanam, he cannot be, he only saw Divya Drishti. Divya Drishti means it is understanding the sixth eye, the understanding the unobjectifiable. Understanding the unobjectifiability, understanding the unobjectifiable is what is called Divya Drishti, Divya Chakshuhu. Bhagavan gave him Divya Chakshu and he started seeing the Virat. Divya Chakshu means what? It is only Divya Chakshu means understanding the conscious being. That is called Divya Chakshu. He only understood he saw everything coming and going and etc. Something is swallowed half, something is not swallowed half. In this manner, that means what? Parameshwara, everything is going, everything. Bhagavan says, aham sarvasya hridaya sannivishtaha matta smriti jnanam apohanam. That is very important. Matta smriti. You remember it also. You remember things also because of me. You forget also things because of me. You forget the past only because of me. It has its laya in Parameshwara. Otherwise, it cannot become non-existent. It has only laya in the Paramatma. It is laya sthana. Therefore, Parameshwara becomes the laya sthana. Parameshwara's existence is the reason for knowing things, remembering things, and also forgetting things. Even to forget, you require Bhagavanji. You can't otherwise, you can't forget things. That is very easy. You think that it is easy to forget things. But without presupposing Parameshwara's presence, you cannot even forget things. Mattaha smritihi jnanam apohanam cha. Apohanam means forgetting things. Apohanam means forgetting things. And all this is not possible unless there is Parameshwara. And in that way, Pradama Pada is a distortion. It's not a process, please. It is not a contortion. It is a distortion. It is an illusion. That is, it is Jiva that thinks that the whole Jagat is real. Who thinks that the whole Jagat is real? Jiva thinks that the whole Jagat is real. Who is the Jiva? Is Virat appearing as Jiva is Jiva. Virat appearing as Jiva is Jiva. And that is what is called avidya. Virat being a Virat, the Jiva doesn't know, the Jiva doesn't think, and therefore the Jiva appears to be limited. The Jiva doesn't know that he is limited, and therefore he thinks that he is limited. But it is the Virat who thinks that I am Jiva. It is the Virat. But even though it is the Virat appears as the Jiva, Virat is the Virat as the Jiva is the Jiva. Virat and the Jiva doesn't think that I am indeed unlimited. I am indeed Virat. He doesn't know. The Shruti points out that, and that is why it said Pradama Pada, Vaishvanara Pradama Pada. The first Pada is only Vaishvanara. Is the first Pada. It is a first Pada means you have to falsify the first three Padas to understand the fourth Pada. And therefore, the first three padas are the Karana Vachyam, and the last pada is the Chaturth pada is the Karma Vachyam. You understand? I hope you are able to follow what I am saying. Do you follow? Thank you very much. And then the more of it we will see in the next class. In the evening we will see. Thank you very much. And it is Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. And that's why, even though I have told you one thing, Vedanta is ultimately choiceless. Even though my delivery is not that great, but understand the topic is intact. The topic you must not ever forget that the Swami talks the topic very well. This topic you have to understand. There is no choice. There is no choice, please. It is unlimited that becomes the jiva. This bath you have to understand. Therefore, when the Jiva understands himself, he is unlimited. As unlimited, he has no problem. That is what is called liberation. Freedom from all the problems is what is called liberation. Liberation from all the problems. Even though you see the prapancha, you are free from the prapancha. Even though you see the prapancha, you understand the prapancha correctly. There is no avidya. Avidya is negated. Avidya is falsified. And therefore, Vedanta is choiceless. Understanding Vedanta is choiceless. And therefore, please try to follow whatever is being said. Try to follow. Whatever you can follow, you can follow. But whatever is not followable, you can leave it. But whatever is to be followed has to be followed. It is choiceless. Because Vedanta is choiceless. Understanding the truth is choiceless. Without understanding the truth, you cannot have liberation. Therefore, everybody is struggling liberation only. Everybody is struggling for liberation. Therefore, don't worry about the delivery. You have to understand the choiceless thing, the topic. The topic has to be understood. Thank you very much. We'll see in the evening.